All right, friends, let's take a look at some pivot turns. Pivot turns happen in a ton of dances. A lot of times it's either a half turn pivot or a quarter turn pivot. We're going to start off looking at half turn pivots. Okay, so half turn pivot, we're going to start with our right foot. We're pivoting over our left shoulder. So we're stepping right. We're making a half turn pivot over our left shoulder, so we're facing our opposite wall. And as we finish that, our weight goes on to our pivoting foot. A lot of times these are happening 2 in a row, so you do 2 half-turn pivots to get you back to your original wall. So let's do one more. We're going to step right and go over our left shoulder, moving our body weight and redistributing our weight onto that left foot. Let's do it again, nice and slowly. Here we go. Step right, pivot half-turn onto your left, step right, pivot half-turn onto your left. Let's check that out from a side view. Okay, again, we're stepping forward right, pivoting over our left shoulder. So step right, pivot onto your left. Step right, pivot onto your left. You'll notice, maybe you'll have to rewind to notice, but you'll notice that the pivoting foot doesn't really have to be lifted up or do much movement at all. It's just sort of that hinge or swivel that you're pivoting on. So you're stepping and pivot, step and pivot. I don't want to make you dizzy, but you should be able to do this lots of times in a row without really lifting up that left foot. If you can, then you know you are doing it correctly. The problem is sometimes people step and they pivot and they're onto their original step, their original foot. So for example, your right foot, and then you can't step right again because you need to transfer your weight. Again, with either foot, that is a half-turn pivot. A lot of dances we also see a quarter-turn pivot. So what that might look like is you step and you make a quarter turn, and again your weight is replaced on your pivoting foot. So in this example, we're stepping right, we pivot quarter turn, our weight is on our left. So again, it would be 7 and 1, 2. Yeah. So we made a quarter turn over our left shoulder, and our weight is replaced onto our pivoting foot. So those are quarter turn pivots and half turn pivots. In a lot of dances, we also see a half turn, quarter turn combination. So that means is ultimately we're going to make a half and then a quarter. Sorry about the math. That's going to equal a 3/4 turn. Let's say we got one of those coming up. We're facing this wall right here, and we're doing a half turn pivot and then a quarter turn pivot. So again, both of those were led in this case with our right foot. So right foot, pivot onto left, right foot, pivot onto left. We made it around 3/4 over our left shoulder, so that would be a half turn, quarter turn pivot. Let's take a look at it with another foot from another angle, just to help and or confuse you possibly. So let's take a look, let's say we're going towards this wall. We're going to use our left leg to make a half turn pivot and then a quarter turn pivot. So we're stepping with our left leg, half turn pivot onto our right, then stepping with our left leg, quarter turn pivot onto our right. So the weight is on your right foot. Those are pivot steps. That's a half turn, a quarter turn, and a half quarter turn combination. Hey friends, thanks for joining today. Make sure before you go, you hit that subscribe button right down there. Also, leave me a comment if there's something you want to see, whether it's basic moves, a lesson, demo, or whatever. BootScootin's here for you. We're going to keep the world dancing. Bye, y'all.